Hello, this is Heath Dweft, and I listen to Raconteurs News.
Was here? Right, okay, good evening, good afternoon even, and welcome to this Raconteurs News preview for the week commencing March the 5th, oh, forget all that bollocks anyway, for this week anyway. So it's been an absolutely wonderful few days. We've had Snowmageddon, we've still got it. It's all really foggy up here now. If you can see out of this window, if you're watching on Facebook Live, let me just show you. It is snowy and it's like hell outside. It's foggy and snowy and it's just horrible. I just hope that wherever you are, it's a little bit better. And we just wanted to perhaps put a little bit of a preview show together. We've been doing this quite a few times over the last few weeks, and just to tell you what we're going to be talking about in the coming week. And we've got a very interesting week coming up. Joining me today, I've got two perverts who were watching me having a bath earlier on. I've got Andy Young, who's our producer and also my co-host, and also I'd like to welcome. I think we can say this now. I'd like to welcome officially on the Raconteurs News team, and that is a place where it's a sacred place. The only really Raconteurs News people who've been involved, and I'm excluded our lady folk from this. Has been me and Andy. So to be officially a raconteur and be part of the Raconteurs News team, I'd like to welcome Paul Webster. All right, mate.
You all right, Jason? Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So you're coming on board?
Yeah, I thought, why not? I get a chance to throw my two penneth in quite a bit anyway. So I thought, why not? If I'm available, I want to be part of this. Raconteurs News has now seemingly climbed. Definitely in the few years that I've been in touch with you guys, it's climbed the ladder. It's getting a decent platform, and as some people, and especially Super Leeds, might want to know, Bills of Exchange Act 1882 is paramount. So I'll use every platform I can, and this is a good platform.
Brilliant. Andy, how are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm all good, mate. I'm quite encouraged by the fact this bloody white snow's melting away gradually. I'm sick to death of it. Although it was nice to see a pair of field fares outside the window the other day. Being a country boy, I thought I'd seen pretty much all of our wild birds in this country, but I've never knowingly seen one of them. So thanks to Andrew Johnson for posting a similar picture, and then I looked it up online and found out what it was.
Excellent. So you've been watching some birds out the window.
Well, and as well as watching you shaving your knackers in the bath.
You country boys.
As well as watching you shaving your knackers in the bath, yeah.
So we've got tomorrow. We've got a show lined up. We've got something lined up for Monday, and we're going to have something for Tuesday. I promise you, there's going to be a show on Tuesday. I'm hoping to get some more non-hunters on Tuesday's show, so we can have another chat with them, because I thought that went quite well, and I also want to, because it seems to have diminished a little bit from my newsfeed on Facebook, so I'm thinking there's some sort of agenda there, but that's what's going to be happening on Tuesday. Why don't you tell us? Paul's got us someone lined up for tomorrow night. Paul, why don't you tell us about the guest that we've got on Monday?
Yeah, the guy's name's Mick Freely. Him and his wife have started up a publishing company now. They publish a lot of books. From all of what you put into speech marks conspiracies, they publish all kinds of stuff. But the background where Michael comes from would be from the police. He was a serving police officer from 93 to about 2006, if my memory serves me. Also his wife. So he's looking forward to giving us a perspective on how things changed in that environment, being from inside the police, service, and then again from
Have
outside.
you spoken to him? Can you give some idea of what perspective he's going to be coming from? Because I've spoken to him, and I suppose you've got some sort of idea of where he's going to be coming from.
Yeah, very much. The way the conversation went, what we had was basically I was asking him questions. Could you, when you was in the police, because I know a lot of good people, men and women who were in the police that are no longer in the police, and I was saying that a lot of the people I knew were leaving because they signed up to actually make a difference, to make people's lives better, to protect property, to protect lives. They didn't sign up to do 96% paperwork, which is what the police were then starting to become, which was the early 90s, which was revenue collectors. Michael and his wife Sarah both saw that being introduced, and obviously they didn't like it very much, and because they were speaking out about it, their lives, like John Wedge's, were made a bit uncomfortable. So I think you'll get a perspective from what was going on, the inside politics, and then the perspective from the outside of the police service, what we all see. We can talk to police officers all the time, and let's be honest, these men and women aren't there because they know what the law is, and it's not they're there to uphold the law. They're there to collect revenue. Simple as that. And I think it'll be a good interchange to hear from the inside perspective on that.
Yeah. Have you got an insight on that, Andy? What do you think?
Well, I'm looking forward to it because I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure whether I've actually interviewed Mick before or not, but I may have done. Back when I first started out, I used to help out a bit with Critical Mass Radio and Paul Giovanni, and he had Mick on quite a regular basis. Now, I started out just doing 2 or 3 interviews about the UFO subject, but I think I did join in them recently. Did join in 1 or 2 more interviews, so that I might have spoke to him before. I can't honestly remember.
No, we've got first of all we've got people in the chat room, which is interesting because we're not normally on a Sunday afternoon, but we've got people in the chat room, and Super Leeds wants to know why the fuck were you watching Jason in the bath. That's it's a question. Hopefully.
It's a question that's easy.
Recording it, and it's going to be on DVD, and I'll be top of the German porno charts by next week.
Well, it's a question that's easily answered, Jason. You're a bell end. We come on here for a chat, and you decide to have a bath while we're in the middle of our chat. You can't mince words about this. That's exactly what happened. We didn't plan upon you being in the bath.
No, but you were secretly pleased when it happened, weren't you? And Colin's often watching me in the bath, so we've got Balls Unshaved in the chat room as well, which I think is Heath. Hey up, Heath, mate. How you doing? I hope he's had a bit of a problem with his car in the last couple of days. We've tried to get some help with it, but it seems that it's going to be costing him quite a load of money to get it sorted. So good luck with that one, mate. Super Leeds, yes, we did get beat 4-0 by Bristol City on yesterday, Saturday. Football, forget it. It's shit. It's a pile of bollocks. I'm just trying to relieve myself of any sort of allegiance that I've got. But Super League's also put in the chat room as well. What's Webby's take on Richie Allen having his chat room, his YouTube channel deleted?
Just before we go to that, Jason.
Go on.
I'd just like to relate something that I thought was quite amusing. When we finished the show the other night with Max, Jason says, I'm going to have to get off, Max, because I've missed the first half of the game and I'm going to watch the second. So Max, being Max, said, Well, everyone to their own tribal thing, mate. No worries. And Jason said, well, I'm not as bad as some people, you know. And he went, no, obviously not. Sat there with your T-shirt on to watch them on the fucking television.
Yeah, it's quite scathing, Max. But what you're going to remember is I missed the first half of that game in order to be able to. And this were when we were on terrestrial TV, we're free to air view thing, and I missed the first half of the game because I wanted to interview Max. So, what's your thoughts, Webby, about the original question that I asked about Richie Allen and other people are having the YouTube channels deleted?
Well, there definitely seems to be some kind of a purge against people who are getting people on who've got really good information. I mean, I contacted Richie. I've lost count how many times to actually try and explain what my information is. He's never ever got back to me. I spoke with Gareth Ike, and I asked him about what had happened, because I understood him that he was distancing himself. He was publishing everything that's saying he was distancing himself from abnd.com, and then all of a sudden, within a matter of weeks of him doing that, his YouTube channel's just unplugged. It's gone, and I'm not sure if that would have happened had he kept the ties with abnd.com. I'm not sure, because abnd.com's, despite, as you quoted Richie Allen's radio show as being what in Europe, the most listened to, or something like that.
To independent radio show in Europe. Yeah, he makes he doesn't like to brag about it, but he seems to do it every single time he's on radio. But yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
So I asked Gareth, and Gareth said, well, he didn't really know too much about what Richie was doing. He said he has distanced himself, and then all of a sudden this has happened, and me and Gareth both agreed that there's no coincidences in this lifetime anymore. So it was an interesting conversation, but he's lost a massive platform there, and that's going to be difficult to get back. I mean, we had Mark Salon on a few weeks back, and he's only an independent lad doing his own thing, like many of us, but he's got a lot of subscribers as well, and his channel went down a few years back. He had to fight to get it all back. So they know, whatever they are, the establishment, whoever they are, they know that this information that is coming out, particularly through platforms like this, they can't handle it. They know that people are waking up. They know there's something wrong, but they just don't know what it is. And it's ordinary people speaking in layman's terms, and people get it. That's it. You don't need all the big convoluted words. Just go straight into the shit, if you like, and it's there. You can find it.
So, you see, for me, I can't understand why he would turn his back on such a huge platform that he got.
Me neither.
I just don't understand that. There's got to be a certain amount of ego. And from what I read, I'm a bit of a Monday morning psychologist type bloke, but I read from what he was saying when he was justifying it. I read that there was some ego in there, and that he was sick of being. I think what he wanted to be was the top dog, and not be associated with being David Icke's mouthpiece. I think there was a lot of that in it. That reading between the line, if you listen to when it first happened and he was justifying it. I think there were a lot of that in it.
Yeah, I agree with that. Only on the fact that, again, when I was listening to him attempting to justify why he left, he tried to make it plainly obvious that there was no falling out. He was still good friends with David, blah blah blah. But it was a kind of thing. Maybe it was a test for himself. I don't know whether it was ego or whether he was just trying to see if, is it David Icke's? Is it abnd.com that is keeping me afloat here, because I am the largest listened independent radio station in Europe. Maybe I can just stand up on my own 2 feet. get some proper funding, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden the plug's pulled. And he's either got, I wouldn't say he's actually starting from scratch, but, you know, there's a lot of people don't catch Richie Allen's podcasts. I don't catch him at all, usually because of work. YouTube was the easiest place to go to, but, you know, what he's going to do now, whether he sets up another YouTube channel and put a different tag on it, I don't know.
Well, I stopped listening. Did used to listen to him. I spent a lot of time up road, and it was better than listening to the normal radio. And I can't stand to listen to my own podcasts and my own radio shows. So, I used to listen to him, but I don't now. And the reason I don't is because he seems to have become so sycophantic since he's gone since he's gone alone, right, on his own. He seems to have become overly sycophantic, and he's calling everyone's brilliant. Everyone were brilliant anyway, but he seems to have gone over the top. It's like he's almost trying to gain back a little bit of the credibility that he's lost by not being associated with David Icke, because, you know, he's not getting any of that anymore, is he? So anyone who's new to David Icke's work isn't going to see Richie Allen, and so he's lost a huge amount of people. And for me, that's the reason I don't listen anymore. I just found that everything was just I think who were we interviewing, for God's sake? And he was saying stuff like, you know, you've got far more brains than me, and you've got so many degrees that you know, they're coming out of your ears. And he's saying all this sort of stuff. And I'm thinking, for God's sake, what question?
Do you know what a load of bollocks. It doesn't matter how many fucking degrees you've got. That's got fuck all to do with any intelligence whatsoever. You can have an IQ of 160 and be absolutely useless to society as an individual. It's a ridiculous comment. And if you are going to, I mean, I don't know Richie. I've tried to get to know him, but there was just no way of getting through to him. Put it on every platform that he uses, and I never even got an acknowledgement. The closest we got to an acknowledgement was when my mate Adi spoke to him to David Icke's venue at Manchester last year, and he was speaking to Richie Allen while I was talking to Gareth, and he mentioned me and what I was doing. He says, "Oh, please tell him to get in touch." He says, "That sounds like fantastic information." So I did. I did so immediately on every platform, and nothing, absolutely nothing. Even Gareth Icke's passed my stuff on to him, and nothing's come of it. So, and Gareth said, he says, "I don't really see or speak to him. We're not in touch. He's really distanced himself." And that was it within the last, 3 to 6 months. So even back then, I couldn't get through to him, and he wasn't distancing himself then. So whatever it is, but when you're coming out, I mean, Richie at one time, he would shout people down. I mean, there's a couple of people on there. I think it was, I think he had Ken O'Keefe on, and he absolutely, from the word go, he was going to disagree with Ken O'Keefe no matter what. I think he'd had Max Egan on previous as well, but it just turned into an absolute argument. I don't think that would happen now because of what you were saying, Jason. It seems to be a bit of a coincidence. He's, trying to be nice to everybody. If you're trying to be nice to everybody, it's almost like you're admitting you're not being liked, or there's something not. I don't know. I can't quite put my finger on it with it. But it is a bit of a strange one.
Yeah, it certainly is, Paul. It's almost like Richie's turned into a caricature of himself, and to make it even more funny, a caricature of himself invented by Jason. But I'd just like to come in here because we've had building feedback from the listeners. And we got a lovely message today from a friend of mine and Paul's over. I'm not sure whether you're friends with him or not, Jason, but Owen over in Portugal. If you're listening, Owen, hiya, mate. I understand the weather with you is a lot more pleasant than it is with us. But from what I gather, Owen's been going through a bit of a tough time recently, and he said that he's been listening to the shows and it's helped him get his focus back. So welcome aboard, Owen, and I hope you spread the word amongst your friends. And we've also got quite a few questions coming in on YouTube. There's a lot about Max and the Ken O'Keefe thing, which I think has already been addressed. I think Max said what he wants to say on that and doesn't want to say anymore. So I've just said to people, if you want to know the answer to those questions, then surely the person to ask is Max Egan. But we have got Uni Black Sister as asking, I'd love to see Mr. Conley on again. Is he available these days? Jason?
Yeah. Well, I've been in touch with Mr. Conley.
Francis.
Francis Richard, isn't it?
Yes.
Because you call it, everyone keeps calling, and I did it myself, and you did it a couple of times. You call him Richard Francis.
Yes.
It's Francis Richard Conley, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've been in touch with him over the last couple of months. I invited him on, and he said, "Listen, what I want to do is I want to save something. I've got a big thing coming up soon. I want to save it, and I'll announce it on your show." So Francis Richard Conley will be on probably in April. We've also got Mark Devlin going to be on in April as well. He's going to be talking about his book when he's been doing all his speaking and his book launches and all that sort of thing. So he's going to be on in April as well. So we've got great guests to look forward to. And of course, hopefully on Tuesday we're going to have some non-hunters on. I always love getting into when we're speaking with them, and I do like to play devil's advocate and put the opposite, not perhaps the opposite view, but perhaps just like a little bit of an argument involved with them as well, just so that it just makes things a little bit more interesting. Like we were saying earlier on, we try not to just agree with anybody, and I think we had a comment on one of the shows, I think it was the Neil Sanders show on YouTube. Was that on the YouTube account where it said it's refreshing that you're not just listening to an echo chamber?
Yes, that was a YouTube comment. Yeah. We've got a good one actually on Facebook Live at the minute. Your mate Adam Bodin, he said bread raid needed. And I replied to that. I said, did you see the bread raid on Lidl in Dublin? Have you seen that film?
I've seen it, yeah.
Oh man, they just completely trashed our whole Lidl with a 360 excavator.
It did, yeah.
And I'm thinking, and the point is, I'm just wondering what the hell.
Well, that's the ultimate question at the end of all this, isn't it, Andy? You just hit it. The point is, what is the point to everything that's going on? Everybody's reacting. You know, people are smashing up Lidls and stuff like that. They're reacting to something. They know something's wrong. But the violence thing, it's what the establishment wants. It's what they're prepared for. I've used that analogy about me with the 357 Magnum replica when I was 8, being stopped with a policeman, being took back home and saying, "Oh, do you know what? I don't think you should be playing with that in the street," compared to now, where that kid would just be more than likely shot dead just for having that. You know, that's how much the policing has changed. That's why I think Michael's input will show us. He might be able to show us where this started, because if you can't open your mind and look at this stuff with the things that we're just talking about now, then you're always just going to be stuck in that darkness. There's no point if you can't. If you've got eyes to see, let them see. Ears to hear, that people have and people haven't.
Well, Super Leeds has just put a comment in the chat room saying, "Why would you steal from a Lidl? Surely you'd do better doing Marks and Spencers." And that's exactly what my wife said last night when we were watching it and we saw it on TV. And we thought, why would you do a Lidl? Just for God's sake, if you're not going to just nick bread, are you? I mean, it's just ridiculous. If you're going to get a JCB, there must be a shop nearby that's got tellies in it, or computers, or stuff that's really worth something. So yeah, why would they be doing a Lidl? It's just, I think it's just stuff that they can put on the TV. They make up, they put on the TV, and then it makes our people to be doing things that they're not doing, and then it gives other people ideas. It's all about giving you ideas. Right, let's go. Let's go and we need some bread. Right, let's go and get some from Lidl.
Well, the thing is, I nipped out early and bought a loaf of bread, but I didn't think of stopping and picking up a JCB on my way. You know, so I haven't got a clue how these people compute things. I mean, I saw it on one of Ben Gilroy's posts, and the gist, I couldn't work out whether the gist is whether they were local Irish boys or whether they were immigrants or what, because there was a bit of a mix mash going on. So I don't really know what the thing is behind it, but as you were saying, it sounds ridiculous that you would go through the effort of getting a JCB, going through all that snow to just steal bread. And I mean, you took the building down first. It just seems a lot of hassle.
Weeds here. Carry on.
Hello?
Yeah, that's Jason's phone, I think, by the way.
Hey, there's nothing like live television, apparently. Or radio, I should say.
Yeah, this is nothing like live television, that is 100% sure. But, well, I suppose it is a bit, because Jason's on Facebook. So, yeah, Facebook, you're now witnessing Jason answering his phone.
As long as you didn't witness him in the bath.
Oh, I wish I'd got my screen recorder on and I could have put that on the website, couldn't I? We could have got an X certificate on the website. So, yeah, so we've got Mick lined up for Monday. Jason's hoping to get some of the nonce hunters on Tuesday. Oh, we've got Rob Halford listening in. Good evening, Holmes Chronic Masturbation Hotline. Nice one, Rob. Oh, trust Rob to bring things up to speed for us. And Webby's dropped off the call. So, unless Jason's going to come back in a few minutes, I guess we're going to wrap this up. So, what I'll do now is I'll put on a little song for us. I think that's just about wrapped everything up as far as I know. If Jason's got anything to come back with, or Paul will come back after this record. If not,
you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel.
Hello, this is Heath Dweft, and I listen to Raconteurs News.
Are we there? Right, okay, good evening, good afternoon even, and welcome to this Raconteurs News preview for the week commencing March the 5th. Oh, forget all that bollocks anyway. For this week anyway. So it's been an absolutely wonderful few days. We've had Snowmageddon, we've still got it. It's all really foggy up here now. If you can see out of this window, if you're watching on Facebook, let me just show you. It is snowy, and it's like hell outside. It's foggy and snowy, and it's just horrible. So I just hope that wherever you are, it's a little bit better. And we just wanted to perhaps put a little bit of a preview show together. We've been doing this quite a few times over the last few weeks, and just to tell you what we're going to be talking about in the coming week. And we've got a very interesting week coming up. Joining me today, I've got two perverts who were watching me having a bath earlier on. I've got Andy Young, who's our producer and also my co-host. And also, I'd like to welcome, I think we can say this now, I'd like to welcome officially on the Raconteurs News team. And that is a place where it's a sacred place. The only really Raconteurs News people who've been involved, and I'm excluded our lady folk from this, has been me and Andy. So to be officially a raconteur and be part of the Raconteurs News team, I'd like to welcome Paul Webster. All right, mate.
All right, Jason. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So you're coming on board?
Yeah, I thought, why not? I get a chance to throw my two penneth in quite a bit anyway. So I thought, why not? If I'm available, I want to be part of this. Raconteurs News has now seemingly climbed. Definitely in the few years that I've been in touch with you guys, it's climbed the ladder. It's getting a decent platform, and you know, as some people and especially Super Leeds might want to